Hey everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today, for the very first time, I'm going to be trying makeup from Pat McGrath Labs. So if you are interested in seeing the first impressions of someone who is not a makeup artist or a celebrity or an influencer with thousands of followers and sponsorships, just a regular everyday makeup wearer who is interested in seeing what the hype is about, then this video might be for you. I'm a new creator here on YouTube, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and let's get into the video. So if you've been interested in makeup in, I don't even know, the past 5 years, you've probably heard of Pat McGrath Labs. It is an ultra high-end luxury makeup brand with an extremely high price point, and I kind of just wanted to see what the hype was about. Up until now, I haven't purchased anything from the brand, but for my birthday, I was actually gifted a gift card to the brand's website, so I thought, a perfect opportunity to try out the brand. It also was during their Sublime sale, summer sale, and apparently they have a lot of sales on their website, so if you missed out on that and are really interested in trying the brand, there will be other opportunities, I'm sure of it. But I wanted to try it out. There was a sale happening, I had this gift card, so things worked out and I picked up a few things. So let's talk about what I picked up. So Pat McGrath has this series of makeup palettes called the Mothership palettes, and these are the highest quality, supposedly, eyeshadows that she has. I think she has like other things like quads and six pans and things like that that people have kind of cited as not as exciting or, you know, not as high quality as the Motherships. And I think there is a reason for that, and I'll go into explaining that. But there are 10 Motherships in total, and I was going back and forth trying to decide which one to get, and ultimately I went with Divine Rose 1, which is Mothership 7. So this is like the 7th in the series of 10 palettes that she came out with. So I'll tell you why I chose Mothership 7. It comes in a very luxe, like cardboard packaging. You open it up and then the palette is like this heavy lacquered palette with the shade names in the box, so you actually have no idea what you're looking at when you're looking at this because there's nothing on it to indicate like which palette it is or which Mothership it is. So, you know, I guess this is just part of the luxury experience. So this is what the palette looks like on the inside. Hopefully you can see. It is a coolish rosy toned palette. There are some warmer shades, like this is a pink gold duochrome. This is just a straight up gold. This is like a rosy shade. Actually, it's kind of cool tone, but it can pull warm depending on your undertones. But yeah, so it is a pretty cool toned palette, I will say, but I was mostly interested in this because I thought this is a $126 palette or something, like something insane like that. It might even be $129 at this point because of inflation. But it is a super expensive palette. If I'm gonna pay for that, like I want it to be something that I get a lot of use out of. That was my thinking. Like, yes, there are, you know, other arguments for, oh, but you want it to be like your special occasion palette or something. But for me, I was like, I want it to be a palette that I can use on an everyday basis. So that's why I went with the more like neutral, like boring color story. So I picked the Divine Rose palette, and I have some thoughts on it. But let's go ahead and jump into a tutorial. I'm gonna do one makeup look with this, and then I'll get into my thoughts on what I think about it. I was actually like, I couldn't find a lot of tutorials on YouTube with somebody trying this palette with somebody that had like medium olive skin tone. There were a lot of fair to light skin tones, and then there were a couple deep skin tones, but there wasn't really anyone that looked like me. So hopefully if there are people that are looking for a tutorial with this palette and they have similar skin tone or undertone to me, this will be helpful, and then we can jump into my thoughts on the palette itself. Okay, so I'm just gonna start out with my MAC paint pot in It's Fabstract just as a base so that I can kind of start with a darker base and then also have like a primed eyelid. I like these paint pots for that purpose, and I know a lot of people like to use the, you know, soft ochre shade or whatever. Well, that was the old school one at least. But I do like this is one of the newer shades that they actually came out with, so I do like these paint pots a lot. Just gonna blend the crease of that a little bit. There's only two mattes, right here and right here. And this one I was particularly worried about looking ashy on me because I am very olive and warm skin, and this is super cool, so I feel like it could be weird. But I'm gonna go in with that anyway and just see how that looks. So I'm taking that on a fluffy brush and just kind of putting that in the crease and blending it out. And it actually doesn't look ashy, I will just say. I do think there were some complaints about it being ashy on deeper skin tones. It does look cool though, you know, it doesn't look like a warm mauve. It looks like a very, very cool, like lavender, which is, you know, something. So there's that. I'm gonna next go into this shade. This shade was called Veloria, by the way. I don't know if you can see the one that I went into here. And then I'm gonna go into this like mahogany shade. I think it's actually called Extreme Mahogany. So I'm gonna go into that one and place this in the outer corner and kind of blend inward. I'm just gonna turn this so I can see the shade names better. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of this brush, honestly. This is a Wet n Wild fluffy brush, and I just think I've had it for so long and I've washed it so many times that it's like, it doesn't feel very soft anymore. I know like you would think maybe after washing it for so many times it would feel softer, but not for me. Okay, this is a pretty brown. It's like a reddish brown, which is like what a mahogany is. That's nice. But you can kind of see there, right? Like it is a little patchy. Like maybe I'm just not super skilled at blending a very, you know, finicky eyeshadow. Like maybe you just need a higher level of skill to do that. But again, we're just doing this from the perspective of an everyday makeup wearer. So, okay. So I've just built that up even a little bit more on the outer corner. It is a really pretty shade. It's almost like a little plummy. I haven't tried this shade. I mean, I haven't really tried any of them. I have swatched some of them, but I want to try this one. It's called Lovelace, and it's like a cool toned purpley neutral shade almost. So let's try that. I'm gonna go in with that more of a flat brush, and I'm going to pick some of that up and spread that. You know what, I'm gonna go in with just my finger, like that. Okay, that's very pretty. That is very, very pretty, I have to say. And it looks good. Let's go in with a lighter inner corner shade. This SKINSHOW Nude, I believe it's called, in the inner corner. Okay, and then maybe for the lower lash line, I'll go in with this. It's like this rose dusk shade that is like a metallic or like a satin that can be, I think, sheared out to a matte almost. Okay, now I think I want to use one of these fun shades. These are like the special shades. Let's go in with this one, or no, let's go in with this one called VR Rose Venus. It's like a gold to pink duochrome shifting shade. It looks really, really pretty in the pan, and the swatch looks really pretty. And that's pretty. I'm not sure if I'm seeing a lot of the shift. I feel like the shift is really strong in the pan. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like a gold to a pink in the pan. But then on the eyes, it just kind of looks just like gold, like orangey gold, which is pretty, but I don't see that shift that much. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm going to now put some mascara on and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I just threw on some Maybelline Sky High mascara and called it a day, no liner. I actually think it looks really pretty and the tones are actually quite flattering, I found. So I wasn't totally sure that was gonna be the case for me because of my undertones and complexion level, so you know, I wasn't sure it was going to look ashy or whatever, but it actually looks pretty good. So let's talk about the actual palette. So the palette is divided into two sections, sort of. So the 6 here are the normal shades, and then the 4 here are the special shades. So I think it is important to look at both because you're going to try to use all 10 shades in a palette. So a lot of people think, you know, these are just the special shades to look out for, but I want to use the entire palette. If I'm paying $128 for a palette, I want to use all 10 shades. So these 6 shades are important to me too. There's 2 mattes here, a mahogany and a mid-toned mauve. Both of them can be sheared out or built up to be darker. I actually think they're pretty good. I was particularly worried about this Velouria, this mauve shade. I thought it was going to be ashy or look too cool toned on me. It was fine. I think that is a reflection of the high quality formula that is in this palette. You know, I have tried some other formulations of a cool toned mauve, and those do pull a little dusty or a little ashy on me, but not this one. So then we have the SKINSHOW Nude. That's a pretty shade for the inner corner, the brow bone highlight. It's like a satiny shade. Then we have this shade Lovelace. That is a sparkly metallic that I put all over the lid. And these two shimmers, I did use actually this one on the lower lash line. I didn't use Sable Bronze, but this one is they're both satiny shimmers that are more metallic than the SKINSHOW Nude, but less sparkly and metallic than the Lovelace shade. So they could, I think, be sheared out to kind of look more matte. I actually think they're both really pretty tones. Then you have these 4 special shades. So this one is the one that I put on the lid. It looks so pretty in the pan. It looks like it shifts, I don't know if you can see, but it looks like it shifts from a pink, like a rose pink, to a bright, like spicy orange gold. But on the lid, it just looks gold. I mean, I don't know if that's just me. Like, I don't see that pink at all. Maybe if you do, let me know, but I don't see it when I look in the mirror. Like when I turn, I don't see it. I want to be able to see that. And that was a little disappointing. It looks so pretty in the pan. It looks so pretty swatched, but on the actual eyes, I don't see it. This shade is a beautiful gold, just a standard metallic gold. I mean, standard by what means, you know, it's a really good quality, pretty molten liquid gold, you know. Then you have the Astral Solstice shade up here. So this is what people like lose their minds over. It is basically a suspended glitter in like a clear sheer base, and you can just take a little on your finger and tap that onto your lids, and you basically bump up the reflectivity or the glittery disco-ness of your eye look. So you could put it on top of any of these shades. And I think a lot of the artistry of Pat McGrath is to mix and match textures. So you could put down a matte, you could put down a metallic, and then you could put this on top of it. Or you could put this shade, which I actually think is really pretty. It's an iridescent pink, so it has like a sheer base, but a really strong pink shift. So if you put it down over a dark base, it looks really cool. I'll do a swatch for you maybe, because I think it looks really cool, and I do really like that. And I do like the idea of layering different textures or different shifts over different bases. So I think that's really cool, very innovative, very like encouraging of creativity. I love that. So yeah, I mean, what am I trying to say? I think this is a beautiful palette. I think I was a little disappointed by this shade. I think this shade, I don't know if I love to have like little specks of glitter on my lids. I know that is like a thing, and I know that like people all over YouTube, let me like wipe this off because I just have it on my hand now. I know people all over YouTube like love the intensity. They always talk about like that like intensity, that sparkle on your lids, like just like full of glitter particles. Like they love that. But I feel like, is that actually like practical? Because I hate, maybe it's just me, like maybe I'm just more sensitive about these things than other people, but I really, really hate when there's like glitter fallout on my face throughout the day. So I'm not gonna like use a shade that does that. And this shade, I don't know if it falls out throughout the day, but it definitely falls out when you apply it. I've tried applying it and it does fall out onto your face. And like I have heard a lot of people say that like throughout the day they look in the mirror and they see little particles on their face. And I've even heard that, you know, Teresa is Dead is a YouTuber, and I will post her video below where she recently ranked all of the Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. She said that she had like a really bad reaction to this kind of shade because the actual little glitter particles like kind of cut her eye, and like that is the nightmare scenario, you know, like that is like so horrifying to me. So I don't think I'm going to use that shade, like even if it's just like out of fear or whatever, and it's like I need to overcome my fear or whatever, like I don't care, like I'm not going to do that just to like say that I'm using all the shades in this palette or whatever. And that being said, if I'm not using all the shades in this palette, like if this shade is disappointing, if this shade is like a fallout shade, if these shades are like not special or whatever, like, is it worth $130? Okay, I think it's a beautiful palette. I think it's a beautiful gift. I think it is a very, very good quality formula, but I think you can find very, very good quality formulas in other brands. Like, that's just my experience, like not just my opinion, my actual experience. I have tried a lot of different formulas from a lot of different brands, and I really enjoy a lot of them. I think these are very creamy and very like luxurious to use, so I won't say that this is a not good palette. I think it's a fantastic palette, but I'm nervous about this shade, and I don't like the glitter fallout. This shade was disappointing, and the other shades I think you could find in other palettes. This shade, I will say, is very, very cool, this iridescent pink. It is a very cool, shifty shade, but there are a lot of like indie shadows that do that too. You know, there are a lot of cool indie multi-chromes, iridescent shades, duochromes, like a lot of shifting shades out there. Like, I wouldn't buy this whole palette just for that shade. And, you know, it's not to say that indie shadows are super cheap either, right? Like, if one single shadow from an indie brand is like $16, well, a 10 pan of those would be $160 too. So it's like, those are expensive too, but I'm just saying, like, at least then you can pick and choose which shadows you want, and you don't like have to use the glitter fallout that's gonna cut your eyeball. So I actually also picked up a couple other things from Pat McGrath just because they were having a sale, so I could fit it all in my gift card. So one of them is this mini eyeshadow palette, and this doesn't have any of those special shades, which a lot of people don't like, but maybe is actually a benefit for me because I won't have to worry about the glitter or like any eye safety issues. This one is called Midnight Voyage, and it has these beautiful purple tones. I know that this one is from Subversive, the Mothership 3 palette. I can actually go over all the tones here. So SKINSHOW Divine Glow, Entrapment Sunset Bronze, which I think might be from the Bronze palette, Extreme Aubergine, which I think is also from the Bronze palette, Eleganza, which is from something, maybe Sublime, or like Mothership 2, and then Night Creature, which is from Subversive, Mothership 3. So these are really pretty tones. I love this. I love how compact and travelable this is. I think it's so pretty. And yeah, I actually think I will get a lot of use out of this. And again, it's not anywhere close to those like glittery PC shades, which I think I like better. I know a lot of people, you know, they dislike that because they buy the palettes for those special shades. They think that's like the big thing about Pat McGrath, but I just can't do it. I can't risk my eyeballs. So this one is called Sublime Smoke. So this is what this one looks like. It's just like a bronzy, beautiful palette. And I think this is Extreme Mahogany, which is from the Divine Rose palette. And then a lot of these shades are from the Mothership 5, the Bronze Seduction palette. So I think these are really pretty, and they are the rich, beautiful mattes that can be sheared out or built up, which I love. They are the satin or shimmer shades that are really juicy and soft and creamy and blend really well. So I love those. Honestly, like, people talk about those shades as the less exciting shades, but I think they are beautiful, and I'm really in love with those shades. So then it also came with this little gift. I'll just show you what's in this. This had, like, if you spent a certain amount, it came with this stuff. So this is a mini matte trance lipstick, and this is in the shade Elson. It's like a deep red and also is so tiny and cute. It's like these little mini things are just like, it's for a little doll. So cute. Yeah, this looks matte. I'm not a huge fan of matte lips. The discomfort, I just can't do the discomfort. Then we have what is this? Ultra Extreme Black Mini Permagel Liner. Actually, I've heard good things about their pencil liners. So I think there is like a black coffee as well, but this is just the black one. And then there is this, which is the Fetishized Mascara. It's in this thing that's sealed. So it is, I think, a mini size or whatever. So I think it's a pretty cute gift. And then you get the little baggie as well. So yeah, I think it's cute. Okay, I think I'll do a little swatching for you now. Okay, so from left to right, we have SKINSHOW Nude, Veloria, Sable Bronze, Refined Gold 002, Iridescent Pink 003. This is Iridescent Pink 003 over a dark base. I used the MAC paint pot in Ip's Abstract. This is Extreme Mahogany, Lovelace, Rose Dusk, VR Rose Venus, and Astral Solstice. I mean, that is just a beautiful swatch. It is. Okay, so that is it for this video. Those were my first thoughts on trying Pat McGrath. Now I want to hear from you guys. Have you tried the brand? What do you think of it? Do you have any of the Mothership palettes? And if so, which one? Are you happy with it? Do you think it was worth the price? Do you have any eye sensitivity issues with the glitter or special shades? I just don't love a lot of glitter fallout, and I definitely don't want it to be in my eyes or eyelids or eyelashes. I hate that. But I would love to hear what you guys think. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!